Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, Alhamdulillah, I have entered the state of ihram for my second Umrah. And as I mentioned previously in a previous blog, that I'm going to be showing a step-by-step guide on how to do Umrah. The first thing that you need to do is, usually when you're flying in, you have to ensure that you enter the state of ihram, i.e. you make niyyah for Umrah before you enter the miqat point. Now the miqat point is the boundary in which you are not allowed to cross it without the state of ihram if you are intending to go for Umrah. So you must make the intention before you cross the miqat boundary. And for men, you will wear these two white pieces of cloth that I'm wearing. No sewn clothing at all, no shoes, etc. You'll wear these white clothes only, nothing else. And you'll perform 2 rak'at, and thereafter you will make the intention for Umrah. So you'll say, Allahumma inni uridu al-umrata fayassirha li wa taqabbalaha minni. That, oh Allah, I'm intending to perform Umrah, so make it easy for me and accept it from me. And thereafter you will recite the talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wal ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. You will recite that 3 times inshallah. And once you've done that, you've officially entered the state of ihram. Now what that means is you have made certain things haram upon you. So you're not allowed to wear sewn clothing, as I've already mentioned. You're not allowed to cut any hair. You're not allowed to pluck any nails. You're not allowed to apply perfume. You're not allowed to cover your face. You're not allowed to, do the things that are usually permissible for a person. That's why it's called ihram. It means to make something haram upon yourself. So once you've done the intention, you will proceed towards the haram, which inshallah I will show you when I get to the haram. Currently I'm in Masjid Aisha. This is Masjid Aisha. Masjid Aisha is just outside the miqat point. So those who want to do a second Umrah, when they go Umrah, they will, from Mecca, get a taxi to Masjid Aisha. It's only approximately a 15-minute drive. And they will come here, they will put the ihram on, they will make the intention, perform the 2 rak'at, and thereafter make their way back to the haram, inshallah. The reason why this masjid is called Masjid Aisha is because at one point Aisha radiallahu anha came here to enter the state of ihram. So since that time, this vicinity has been known as Masjid Aisha. It's also called, this area is also called Tan'im. And the Prophet ﷺ told her to come here to enter the state of ihram. This is why it's called Masjid Aisha. So this is what will happen inshallah. Before you perform Umrah, you must do everything that I have mentioned, entering the state of ihram, performing the 2 rak'at, reciting the talbiyah, and thereafter ensuring that you avoid all of those things that I mentioned before. Alhamdulillah, we reached the haram and we're going to be starting our tawaf inshallah. I'm not going to record anything from the tawaf. I'm quite against recording while tawaf is going on. It's important that you focus on your tawaf, and it's an ibadah at the end of the day, so it's important that you stay focused during tawafs. So what I'm going to do after the tawaf, I'll be sitting on the side and I'll be explaining inshallah the next step after you have entered the state of ihram, inshallah. Okay, so alhamdulillah, we've done our tawaf for Umrah. So how it works is, let me just show you. You have the Kaaba over there. When you enter the haram, you will basically proceed towards the Kaaba. It's recommended by some scholars that you lower your gaze. If you're coming for the first time, you lower your gaze until you get to the Kaaba, i.e. the mataf area. So this is mataf area where I'm sitting here. All the way around is the mataf, i.e. the place where tawaf takes place. So how it works is you will come, as I said, some scholars recommend that you keep your gaze lowered. That increases the desire to see the Kaaba, that when you're in the mataf and you look up, suddenly you'll see the Kaaba, and it's quite an amazing sight. So and that will really, in terms of emotion, it will affect, it'll be more emotional. And then your first glance of the Kaaba, you will stand and you will make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pour your heart out to Allah, ask Allah for all of your needs, Thereafter, you will proceed to the Hajr al-Aswad. Now, Hajr al-Aswad is in that corner over there. Obviously, it's virtually impossible to get to the actual Hajr al-Aswad and to kiss it. Some people do get lucky, but I would personally wouldn't recommend it, because in order to touch the Hajr al-Aswad, you have to really barge people, and you're going to be violating so many rights in order to do something that is not even necessary. What's fard is that you look after the people around you, so that's what's very important. So what you should do instead is just wherever you are, like you see these people walking past, just stay where they are. And the key thing is you have to be in line with this green light. So when you're in line with that green light, wherever you're standing, you will face towards the Hajr al-Aswad, which is there, and you will turn, raise your hands, okay, like this, and you'll say Bismillahi Allahu Akbar, and then you will kiss your hands. Now this is to symbolize that you're kissing the Hajr al-Aswad, the black stone. Once you've done that, you will now proceed this way. As you can see, everyone's walking this way, and this is now your tawaf has begun. You will do 7 rounds, yeah, so going all the way around up to the Hajr al-Aswad. That's 1. You do the same thing again, Bismillahi Allahu Akbar. Now you will start your second one, go all the way around. That's 2, 3, 4, until 7. Okay, so that includes the 7th one. So when you're done 6, you'll do 7 as well, right? Once you've completed the 7th one, you'll finish the 7th one by saying Bismillahi Allahu Akbar, and thereafter you will come where I'm seated here, behind Maqam Ibrahim. It's not actually behind Maqam Ibrahim. Maqam Ibrahim, not sure if you can see it, is that golden thing over there. So ideally it should be over there. However, there's no space, and usually it's very difficult to get space directly behind Maqam Ibrahim. So if you don't get space there, you can pray anywhere in the Haram. So I'm basically just next to the Maqam Ibrahim. So I just managed to sit here and perform my 2 rak'at. So you'll perform 2 rak'at. According to the Hanafi school of thought, these 2 rak'at are wajib, and according to the other schools of thought, these 2 rak'at is sunnah mu'akkada. You perform these 2 rak'ats. You have to bear in mind that ensure that the time is not a makruh time. It's very important. Make sure it's not a time that is prohibited. There are certain times where it is prohibited to pray, like after sunrise, at midday, just before the hot time starts, as well as after Asr as well. So these are the prohibited times, so you should avoid praying. If you do happen to finish the tawaf at this time, you'll perform your 2 rak'at after the prohibited times. So now once you've done that, that's your tawaf done. Now a few important things regarding tawaf. During the tawaf, there is no specific dua that you need to recite. Rather, what you should do is recite any dhikr, any dua that you know. You can even recite the Quran as well. But the best, some scholars say that the best dhikr that you can do is La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa ala kulli shay'in qadir. This is one dhikr that you can do. And general dua, Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin, and other duas as well. There is one recommendation, basically between the Ruknul Yamani and Hajr al-Aswad. So Hajr al-Aswad, as I mentioned, is over there. So on the other side, basically down there, okay, obviously you can't see it, but it's basically the other side of the other corner, right? That's known as Ruknul Yamani, the Yemeni corner, between the Ruknul Yamani and the Hajr al-Aswad. So basically that side over there, this whole side of the Kaaba, it is recommended to recite Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adhab an-nar. Okay. Another important thing regarding the tawaf is in the first 3 rounds, it is sunnah to do something called ramal. Ramal basically means a light jog. Now this isn't always possible due to the crowds, but if you do get a chance, you should try and do it. A light jog, basically in such a way where your chest should be puffed out, and this for men, by the way, only, right? So you stick your chest out, and you will kind of jog, light jog. And the reason why this is sunnah is because when the Prophet ﷺ and the Muslims were doing tawaf, the mushrikeen saw them walking in a very dull manner, and it almost looked as if they're ill or they're weak. So the rumor started going around that the fever of Yathrib, meaning the fever of Medina, which was a thing back then, the fever of Medina has got the better of the Muslims, and because of that they're weak. So in order to kind of combat that rumor, the Prophet ﷺ commanded that they do ramal. Now even though the context is in a very particular scenario, it is still sunnah to do this practice. Another important thing is in the first, during the entire tawaf, you will do something called ittiba'. Now ittiba' is basically, you see the ihram I'm wearing, you will basically expose the right hand side. Okay, so this is my right hand. Okay, I will expose this side. So I'll wear the ihram in such a way where my right hand exposed. And again, it is to show strength. Obviously, this is only for men as well. So this is regarding tawaf. Now, once you've done tawaf and you performed your 2 rak'at, you'll make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and thereafter you will proceed to sa'i, or the mas'a, the place where sa'i takes place, which is behind me over there. So there's a way. So you see over here, you basically walk down, and that will lead to the mas'a. Okay, and thereafter you'll perform sa'i, the running between Safa and Marwa, which I will explain inshallah later. Lastly, the last important thing, according to the Hanafi school of thought, it is necessary to have wudu while you are in tawaf. So while you have tawaf, or while you are performing tawaf, it's important that you have wudu, inshallah. And the reason behind this is because the Hanafi school of thoughts and the Hanafi scholars, they liken tawaf to salah. And this is the reason why they say that there is a 2 rak'at after tawaf, because it's like the tawaf that you performed, it's like you performed 2 rak'at, and thereafter you perform another 2 rak'at. Okay, so, and there's other reasons as well. According to the other scholars, it's not necessary to have wudu. So if you do break your wudu during the tawaf, it's very simple. Just remember what round you're on. You'll go perform wudu, come back and just carry on from where you stopped. Another important thing, if you forget how many rounds you're on, this is something common, you forget what round you're on, then you will go with the least number. So if you're confused, am I on the third, is it the 3rd round or 4th round, then you'll go with 3rd round, okay? Because if you go with the lesser number, then basically the worst case scenario is that you've done more tawafs, which is not technically that bad, right? If it's more probable in your mind that you've done 4, but there's like 20% of you is saying that you've done 3, then you'll go with the 80% basically. Alright, so if you're more certain that you've done 4 rounds, then you will go with 4. But this is when you're in serious doubt, you just don't know whether it's 3 or 4. Then in that case, you will go with the least number, inshallah. So these are a few important things regarding. So we just completed the tawaf. So I basically prayed over here. Okay, over here I prayed. When you finish praying, Maqam Ibrahim is over there. So ideally you want to pray there, but if you can't, then you can pray over there or anywhere else in the haram. And then you will make your way towards here, and you will follow this sign to Mas'a, i.e. the place where you will run between Safa and Marwa. So you'll walk towards there, and inshallah you just follow the signs. So you can see over there, the green sign over there, it says to the ground floor of Mas'a. Follow that sign, and that will take you to Safa, and that is where you're going to start the running between Safa. Basically, when you follow the signs, it's going to take you to over there. You can see that the green thing, that's basically the mountain. It's a green light shining on the mountain. That's Mount Safa. So you'll go through here. They've blocked this area for some reason. So you'll go down these stairs and basically make your way over there. That is basically Safa. You will start your sa'i, the running between Safa and Marwa over there, and you will go round over there, and that's going to be the beginning of Safa Marwa. It's very busy today, subhanallah. Wasn't expecting it to be this busy. Allahu Akbar. So you climb here. That's that green light that is shining on Mount Safa. Ideally, what you should do, you see where all of these guys are standing, they're basically facing the Kaaba, which is over there. And what happens is you will turn towards the Kaaba and you will make dua, and thereafter you will go round over there, over there, and then you will go down there, and that is the beginning of your Safa Marwa, the running between Safa and Marwa. And you will do 7 rounds like this. You'll run all the way down there to Marwa, and then you will come back where all of these guys are coming back. So when you run all the way down there to Marwa, that is 1 round. Then you'll come back all the way here to Safa, that's 2 rounds, and you'll do that until 7 o'clock. We're now starting the sa'i, the running between Safa and Marwa. So as I said, you will start at Safa and you will make your way towards there. Again, in the sa'i, you don't recite anything in particular. Again, it's just general dhikr. But there is a point where you have 2 green lights, and in between those 2 green lights, men are expected to run. So it's sunnah to run in between those 2 points, and you will recite verse 158 of Surah Al-Baqarah, إن الصفا والمروة من شعائر الله فمن حج البيت أو اعتمر فلا جناح عليه أن يطوف بهما ومن تطوع خيرا فإن الله شاكر عليم. You will run between those 2 points, right? So you see that green thing? You will run between the beginning of the green point to the end of the green point, and you recite that verse. As for the rest of the Safa Marwa, the running between Safa Marwa, you will walk as I'm walking right now, and you will recite any dhikr. So لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. Make general dua as well. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين, etc., etc. We've done our first round of our Safa Marwa. On a side note, you see this corner here, this is where Darul Arqam used to be. Darul Arqam was the first madrasa of Islam at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Basically, the Prophet ﷺ used to gather the Muslims in the early stages of Mecca, the Meccan era. The Prophet ﷺ used to gather in the house of Arqam, ibn Abi al-Arqam, radiyallahu anhu, and he used to teach the Muslims about Islam, recite the Quran to them, and so on and so forth. And they used to do that out of secrecy, because they didn't publicize their Islam initially. They call it the secret da'wah. So this is where the house of Al-Arqam ibn Abi al-Arqam used to be. My second round, so from Marwa to Safa. And as I mentioned before, you're going to continue doing this, Safa to Marwa, Marwa to Safa, Safa to Marwa, Marwa to Safa, until 7 times have been complete. So just to clarify, I've done Safa is down there, Safa to Marwa, that's 1. Now Marwa to Safa, this is my second one. Then 3rd, 4th, and then 5th, 6th, and then 7th, and I'm going to end up in Marwa. So that's how it should be, that you will complete your Umrah or your sa'i in Marwa. Okay, so just it's important to understand that. Alhamdulillah, we just finished our sa'i, the running between Safa and Marwa. So when you finish, you should end up on Marwa, as it's 7 rounds. You'll end up over there, that's Marwa, and then there is a door, you leave from Marwa, and then you will come here, and then you will proceed to the hotel. Usually it'll be, you turn right, as I've done here. Most of the hotels are through this way, and you go basically all around the Haram towards the clock tower area, which is basically on that side over there, and then you just make your way to a hotel. So now that the rites of Umrah are complete, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to shave your hair. And once the hair has been shaved, this is when you're officially out of the state of ihram. Okay, now before you shave your head, it's important that just because you finish your Safa Marwa and you finish the rites of Umrah, doesn't mean that you can apply perfume and do the things that you are not allowed to do, because even though technically the Umrah rites have been completed, but despite this, you still have to observe the state of ihram until the hair has been shaven. So now inshallah I'm going to make my way to the hotel. I'm going to get my hair shaved, and once I've done that, inshallah I will share some final reflections on Umrah, inshallah. And if there are any questions, you can feel free to comment on this video, inshallah, and I will respond as soon as possible. Alhamdulillah, we finished our Umrah, shaved our heads, alhamdulillah, and that's it. Now this marks the end of your Umrah. One of the main lessons of Umrah is to follow the footsteps of Ibrahim alayhi salam. When you're circling the Kaaba was made by Ibrahim alayhi salam and his son Ismail alayhi salam. They built the Kaaba together. You have the well of Zamzam, you're drinking the well of Zamzam, the running between Safa and Marwa. That's also commemorating the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and deriving lessons from Ibrahim alayhi salam's story. So when Hajar, the wife of Ibrahim alayhi salam, ran between Safa and Marwa, So the running between Safa and Marwa is a beautiful lesson of struggle for us. That's a person who struggles for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah Azza wa Jalla will always grant a solution. And this essentially is what Umrah is about. This basically marks the end of Umrah. I've given a very basic guide, and this is pretty much all you need to know. Obviously you'll always have specific cases and scenarios, but this is generally speaking.